you are enjoying the stream, enjoying the YouTube video, of course, well, YouTube video would have ended for that segment of the stream, but it's starting for this segment. So we're gonna go ahead and react. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's chill time. It is chill time. YouTube's darkest videos. Nick Crowley. Is this the video we watching tonight? Yeah, it's the video.
The following video.
Before I start this though, let me go ahead and go grab my food. It is chill time. How was my day? My day was excellent. Well, streaming part was excellent, of course. Streaming part was mighty fine. I love today's stream. Today's stream was fire. That game was fire.
Sponsored by Simply Save.
All right, so this is YouTube's darkest videos, number 9. Let's get right into it.
No safe like Simply Save.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're now arriving our Wasco station stop.
On the morning of March 22nd, 2024, the Kern County Sheriff's Office was flooded with calls about an incident that had taken place near the Wasco Amtrak station in Wasco, California. The incident involved a pedestrian who was reportedly walking dangerously close to an active train track before being struck by an oncoming locomotive, a situation that authorities knew was likely unsurvivable. Police arrived at the scene shortly after 8 a.m. and were met with the bloody aftermath of the accident, as they found 48-year-old Horacio Ayala Penoza deceased on the tracks, with the force of the impact being so strong that his body was torn apart and scattered all throughout the area. At first, it was believed to have been a clear-cut suicide, but after interviewing some of the witnesses, police learned that the man had never stepped in front of the train, and rather, he had actually been sucked underneath as a result of walking too closely, painting a clearer picture that this was all a tragic accident. But as police were conducting these interviews, one strange detail kept coming up, as apparently, Horatio wasn't the only one on the tracks around the time of the incident, with there allegedly having been one other man standing nearby, a man who took off shortly after Horatio had been killed, and strangely, witnesses believe they saw the man reach down and pick something up before leaving. For the officers on the scene, finding this man became the next obvious order of business, but by this point, he had already found himself a few blocks away, where he was spotted by a group of construction workers. The group watched as the man walked towards them, appearing to hold some sort of large item in one of his hands, the same item that had been taken from the train tracks. And the closer he got, the clearer it became what exactly this thing was. It was a human leg.
But that's
For some inexplicable reason, when the train had dismembered Horatio, this man had run over and picked up his leg, and he was now waving that leg on the sidewalk of a nearby road, with the construction crew claiming that he had been banging it against the fence as he walked towards them, and at one point had even struck the leg against one of their machines. Upon the realization, a wave of fear washed over the group, as they were unsure what this man had done to get this leg, or what he would do next, though that was something that even the wildest of imaginations could have never predicted. As the man looked down at the leg, and began eating it, as the workers watched on in horror. Officers arrived on the scene immediately after this, and when they asked the man what he was doing with the leg, he explained that it belonged to him, and that he was taking it to a nearby hospital to have it reattached. But it was obvious to everyone there that this man wasn't missing any of his legs, with the officers having to go as far as to prove it to him.
Some people just be out of it, seriously. Like, bro, what the? This man woke up. I have no words. I just have no words.
By making him roll up the sleeves of his pants and touch
no
both of his legs. His explanation was completely nonsensical, and obviously didn't account for the fact that he was literally eating the leg just minutes before, leading to officers immediately placing him under arrest. His name was Rosendo Tejas, a 27-year-old man who had been experiencing homelessness and had been living on a street near the train tracks, with police determining that he did in fact have nothing to do with the actual death of Horatio. He just so happened to be near the tracks at the time, where he would first witness the accident, and then, for some unknown reason, take Horatio's leg and start eating it. It appears as though this was the result of a combination of both drugs and alcohol, as he was found carrying narcotics when he was taken into custody, and he had just been captured by security cameras purchasing alcohol at a nearby liquor store just hours before the incident. But what's so interesting about this footage is just how normal Rosendo seems. In fact, the people working there knew him quite well, as he stopped in almost daily, where he was described as being polite and ordinary, including on the day of that incident. In fact, it's said that at first the shop owners didn't believe that Rosendo could have possibly done this, but it seems that whatever substances he had taken that day had changed him. Rosendo Tejas was charged with 2 counts of removal of human remains and 1 count of destroying or concealing evidence, as well as resisting a police officer, and was sentenced to 1 year in prison after pleading no contest, bringing this absurd case to an end. However, his unsettling behavior will forever live on in one of YouTube's darkest videos.
The fun of Halloween should not include mischief.
It was just past 10 p.m. Safely tucked away in her second-story apartment, 20-year-old Hannah Vivaretti set up her phone to record a video of herself dancing. For her, this was a meditative practice, a way of unwinding after a long, stressful day, and to truly feel at peace. But that day, fate had other plans. As Hannah was dancing, something off camera caused her to stop dead in her tracks and yell, "Who are you?" It was a man whom Hannah had never seen before, standing in the doorway of her balcony, which again was on the 2nd floor, meaning that man had climbed up, cracked open the door, and was now standing in her home staring at her, quietly muttering nonsensically with a big grin on his face.
Who are you? Who are you? Please get off.
Hannah stopped the music and again asked, "Who are you?" To which the man responded by saying,
Please get out. No, please get out. Yes.
But her demeanor and the panic in her voice made it all too clear that this was far from the case.
Who are you? Please get out of my apartment right now.
She started to make her way over to her phone and then towards the front door. All the while, the man kept calmly insisting that they be friends, but Hannah was having none of it.
Please get out of my apartment right now.
Opening her front door and in the process,
Get out. Get out.
pointing the camera directly at the intruder, giving us our first and only glimpse of the man, as he's standing still in the balcony doorway. And with her front door now open, she yelled at him to get out, loud enough for the neighbors to hear.
Get out.
Which finally caused the man to retreat. As it turns out, Hannah did actually know who this man was, at least vaguely, as he lived in the same apartment complex, but he never actually spoke to her. He would always just stare and smile, making it apparent that he had some sort of sick interest in her. As for why he entered her home that night, it's fairly obvious that his intentions were incredibly sinister, with Hannah recalling that during the entire experience, his hands never left his hoodie pocket, making her wonder if he was holding onto some sort of weapon that he may have been planning to use on her. But thankfully, because of her swift reaction, we'll never truly know what he had planned that night. Days after the incident, police would arrest 36-year-old Angel Moses Rodriguez Gomez and charge him with stalking, second-degree assault, third and fourth-degree burglary, and malicious destruction of property. But surprisingly, shortly after his arrest, they allowed him to walk free on bail. And given that he lived in the same apartment complex as Hannah and clearly knew where she lived, this decision was incredibly controversial, with Hannah herself stating in an interview that, "I just don't think it's fair that he's walking freely right now, and I have to watch my back at every angle." Thankfully, the court's decision would not lead to any further escalations in the case, and today Angel no longer lives in the country, but the footage is incredibly chilling nonetheless, and it sent me down a rabbit hole of home invasion videos late the other night. And here on YouTube, I came across countless unsettling examples. One such example comes from Saratov, Russia, and shows a woman moments after being awoken by the sound of knocking as she lay in bed in her apartment. It was around 4:30 a.m., which was
That's why you gotta have that clickety clickety clack. That clickety clickety clack. Yeah, feel me? Ha ha ha.
already unusual enough, but things became downright horrifying for her when she realized that the knocking wasn't coming from the door, it was coming from the window. Outside of her window was a man, banging his head against the glass over and over again. And equally as disturbing, this woman's unit wasn't on the first floor. She was 2 stories up, and she didn't have a balcony. Across the street, a neighbor filmed the incident as it happened, showing us that the man was standing on one of the building's gas pipes while he continued to strike the window. Eventually, these hits grew so forceful that the glass started to break, and his head began bleeding profusely, finally leading to the man stopping, but not in the pursuit of entering the home.
У него пена изо рта.
The sad part about it, like to look at it from like a realistic like point, the sad part about it is that we gonna always have people and individuals that do stuff like this because we just don't have a society that takes care of our people. We just don't. And like only because we don't, that's why it's gonna just inevitably like inevitable. It's gonna always be somebody that wakes up tomorrow or the next few days from today and they just had enough. They just don't want to do it anymore. Like that's the crazy part and crazy thing to kind of take in. It's like, you know, there's somebody who hasn't decided yet who will decide in the next few days that it's just done. Like they're not doing this anymore. And that's the sad truth about it. It's crazy.
Слушай, этого дурачка пена изо рта, у него бешенство или чё? Ну, бля, попей мочи, иди отсюда уже.
As he instead climbed to a different window where he attempted to peel it open with his finger.
I saw no, hold on. I have to no. No, bro, no. Bath salts. The cycle out of designer street. What? People find any way to get high, bro. Literally.
Entire story,
Bath
as the woman behind the
salts?
camera actually spoke to a local reporter and provided
Never
additional
tried
context to the
that.
ordeal, which only made the story more terrifying. At first, he knocked with his hands. Then he began to peck at me at the window with his head for an hour and a half without stopping. After that, he started shouting my name to the whole yard. He was foaming at the mouth, His whole face was covered in blood, and he shouted that he wanted to talk to me, and he needed me. With the most terrifying part of the statement being that she had no idea who this man was, or how he could have even known her name. The idea of both of these intruder videos featuring people whom the victims had never even spoken to makes them especially unsettling, as it shows that you really never know who's watching and who might be obsessing over you. But incidents like this can be equally as chilling when the intruder is someone that you do know. Mohammed Amana was a 26-year-old man living in Orrefors, Sweden, and had been dating a woman named Maria, but after several run-ins with the law, Mohammed's lifestyle just became too much for
He knew her name somehow, some way.
her, and she eventually decided to end the relationship. This caused Mohammed to become enraged, an emotion that was only further heightened when he discovered that she was staying with a male friend of theirs. And on the 25th of May, he would show up at his doorstep and ask to speak to Maria. Inside, the male friend and Maria both refused to let him in and told him to leave, and for a moment he did, though only temporarily, as he would return minutes later, this time armed with a ladder. And noticing what he was trying to do, the homeowner began recording on his cell phone.
En stege. En stege. Okej.
Vad gör du, Mohammed?
Man går in.
Vad gör du?
The man behind the camera asks, "What are you doing? Are you going to fight me?" To which Mohammed said no, he just wanted to speak to Maria.
Tror du kommer upp här? Tror du kommer upp här?
Varför slå med mig?
As he said this, his demeanor was unsettlingly calm as he continues making his way up the ladder.
Mohammed, du kommer inte upp här. Du kommer inte in i mitt hem. Du kommer inte in i mitt hem, Mohammed.
With his demeanor being so calm that the cameraman couldn't tell if Mohammed was a threat or not, though it wouldn't take long for him to get his answer.
Du kommer inte in i mitt hem. Därför han högg mig med en kniv, Maria. Han högg mig med en kniv.
In an instant, Mohammed struck the cameraman, causing him to retreat into his room, closing the sliding glass door just in time for Mohammed to step on the balcony and brandish a large kitchen knife.
En stor köttkniv. Såg ni det? Du, han krossar glaset med en sten.
Still dazed by the attack, the man holding the camera retreated even further into the house, while Maria had already run into the bathroom and locked the door behind her, a door that Mohammed would quickly rush over to.
This is why I'm so grateful to just be the man that I am today. Because I could have easily been on either sides of that equation in this situation. I could have been the crazy dude trying to end everything, or I could have ended up being the girl that just never found the dude that she was supposed to be with, and she's dealing with this, getting killed or trying to be killed and stuff by these crazy men. Like, this world is scary. This world is scary, bro. And that's why I'm so grateful I got the life that I got, for real. Like, I wake up and I don't never let it get past me. Like, deep down inside, I never let it get past me of how blessed I am, for real, for real. For real, for real, for real.
Mohammed. Släpp in mig på dassen, han kommer in. Han kommer in, Maria. Mohammed, hugg du. Mohammed, du högg mig redan.
And desperately tried to open, even trying to use his knife to turn the lock, as that lock was the only thing standing in the way of what he was there to do. What exactly that was is unknown, as police would manage to arrive on the scene within minutes of this footage being taken, where they would arrest Mohammed before he was able to get to Maria. But it's clear based on the fact that he had a weapon on him and his desperate attempt to breach the house that he didn't just want to have a conversation. In the end, the man filming was left with only minor cuts, and Mohammed was sentenced to 2 years in prison as well as a 10-year ban from the country of Sweden, leaving us with 3 haunting videos of 3 disturbed intruders, whose true intentions will thankfully never be known. It's the spookiest time of the year, a time when the consumption of horror movies and dark YouTube videos reaches its peak. But while fun in the moment, the true terror of consuming this content often occurs long after the credits roll, when you close your eyes to go to sleep, only to feel the sickening feeling of paranoia, every creak in your home sending a jolt of panic throughout your body, making you wonder if someone or something is inside your house. I was just like you once. Consuming creepy content is my livelihood, and as a result, I've spent countless sleepless nights feeling uneasy within my own home. never quite feeling safe and secure, always wondering if something was lurking around me, until I
Is that
realized
Nick
that the reason I
Crowley?
didn't feel secure was
Wait,
because I
is that him talking in the video? What? How does he have that like VHS style
wasn't.
type of-
The only thing standing between me and the outside world was a simple lock, and I knew it was time for a change, with that change finally coming when I partnered with this video sponsor, SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe is a home security system that you can control. Visit simplysafe.com/NickCrowley to
Alright, hey folks, this is Noah, getting my vlog live. Trucks and trucks and lots of trucks.
This is the very first footage that Noah Harpham would post to YouTube. After years of having a channel, Noah finally decided to give uploading a try, posting this inaugural video to a self-titled channel on October 29th, 2015, titling it 10/29/15, video blog number 1, and introducing himself to the platform with a simple "Hello world" in the description.
No, but I did want to dissect just the beginning of a sermon given by a Pastor Bill, a guy that my dad has been following, taking ideas from for 10 years at least. He and his family, 2 kids.
In the video, Harpham paces throughout his home and discusses a priest named Pastor Bill, whom he believed was influencing his father and his family, and clearly not in a good way.
I've been ignorant of it for a long time, so I wanted to look at it, and I challenged him just to look at 15 minutes of this sermon.
Though he gives no context as to who this pastor is, only mentioning that he had been ignorant of the situation for a while, and that this video was his response after trying to expose the truth to his father.
Been waiting and waiting, and haven't heard anything, so I was going to just post my reply, and I guess that's how I'll start my blog.
Again, what this truth is unclear, as the lack of information makes this video a confusing watch, and ultimately it tells us very little about who Noah was, let alone the other people he was discussing. But he did end the clip by making it clear that this was only the beginning of what would be a reoccurring blog series that would showcase just him, his thoughts, and his camera.
The blog is just going to be me with a video camera, and that'll be it. We'll see what happens.
But before those uploads would come, Noah had pinned a website in his description that directed users to a blog post written by him that same day, titled, "Is My Dad in a Cult? Even worse, is it satanic?" Throughout the writing, Harpham loosely provides additional context for his video, as he breaks down a sermon given by Pastor Bill, who is shown to be Bill Johnson, a well-known preacher from the Bethel Church in Redding, California, who had garnered a large following online. And despite the sermon being over an hour long, Harpham goes through it point by point, critiquing everything that he said. And the more he typed, the more angry he got. And the more angry he got, the more nonsensical his words became. "I'm attempting to present a case that shows the leader of this prestigious institution, along with a select group of rulers, are using mind control techniques to poison and confuse legions of useful idiots that slave away to keep the institution humming along, and that this man, Pastor Bill Johnson, and his ruling caste are using mind control to keep people imbalanced and ignorant, in a state of perpetual waiting for the material world to be defied, while they themselves are profiting immensely in this material world." The blog gives us a peek behind the curtain of the man shown in this video, a man who seems to be clearly mentally unwell, paranoid, and very angry, with the post making it clear that the purpose of Noah's content was to bring this pastor down, and video blog number 1 was supposed to be just the start. However, there would never be a video blog number 2, as just 2 days after posting this video, Noah's life would take a drastic turn.
Colorado Springs 911, what's the exact location of your emergency?
It's at,
Repeat that one more time for me and make sure I have it correct.
well, it's across the street from me. I'm calling from my address.
Tell me exactly what happened.
Well, there was a guy walking around with like 2 cans of gasoline or something, 2 small cans, and a big, like a rifle. It was black, and it had a strap around it. He's walking up to doors and stuff.
At 8:35 a.m. on Halloween morning, a woman named Naomi Bettis called 911 after witnessing a suspicious man walking around her neighborhood in Colorado Springs, as she watched him carrying several cans of gas, as well as an AR-15 that was hung over his shoulder. She didn't know it at the time, but this man was her neighbor, Noah Harpham.
And then I seen that he walked into the building, and the glass window at that business is broke.
And that's a business? What's the name of the business?
I have no idea, but I just know I don't know if it's a fake gun, BB gun, but it looks pretty scary.
As the call progresses, Naomi explains that she had watched him enter a nearby business, where one of the windows appeared to have been broken. She wasn't sure if anything illegal had happened at this point, but she was convinced that Noah was up to something sinister, which based on what he had in his possession seemed to be the only logical conclusion. However, this concern wasn't felt by everyone.
Okay. And you said it looked like a long gun, correct? Like a rifle?
Yes, uh-huh.
Well, it is an open carry state, so he can have a weapon with him or walking around with it, but of course having those gas cans, it does seem pretty suspicious, so we're going to keep the call going for that.
Okay, and the window's broken to that business downstairs, so...
Right, and you said he's now upstairs, correct?
Yes, mm-hmm.
And are you or anyone else in immediate danger?
No.
Okay.
As the operator seemingly brushed aside the incident, stating that she was only keeping the call going because the gas cans could be suspicious. However, even with that, the report still wasn't taken seriously, as the dispatcher hung up on her shortly after, before dispatching one single officer to the scene, an officer that never even made it there, as just moments later he was called off and sent to what was deemed to be a more pressing scene at the local senior center. Naomi's concerns were completely ignored, but despite this, she continued to watch out her window, waiting to see what Noah would do next. 4 minutes after her call with police ended, and 10 minutes after first reporting Noah's behavior, Naomi would dial 911 once again, only this time, her demeanor was far different.
I just called a few minutes ago, and the guy came back out, and he fired the gun at somebody, and he's laying on the street dead. Oh my God, you sent an ambulance too.
Naomi's worst fears had come true, as she frantically told dispatch that the man carrying the gun had just shot and killed someone outside of her home.
Oh my God.
Okay, calm down, okay? Stay with me. I'm just putting that into the call. Is anyone in immediate danger?
No, that I can see or see. No.
In response, the operator bizarrely asks if anyone else is in danger, but Naomi, likely in a state of shock, answers no, before immediately realizing that Noah was heading in the direction of Platt Avenue, which was known to be a busier neighborhood.
Maybe on Platt Avenue there might be people in danger.
Naomi, I need the suspect's description. Do you know his name?
No, I don't.
Okay, is he white, black, Hispanic, Asian?
He's white, and he's got long curly hair coming out of his cap.
She desperately tried to relay that more people were likely in harm's way, only to be immediately proven right just seconds later.
I think, yeah, there's people outside that might be in danger up on Platt.
Okay.
Oh, I just heard another gun fire. Oh my God.
When she hears more gunshots, prompting the operator to once again ask,
Yeah, they need to call an ambulance or something right away.
Okay. Is anyone in immediate danger?
Only people up on Platt, maybe.
All right, I am sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line and I'll tell you exactly what to do next, okay?
Okay.
It was only then that the operator would tell Naomi that police and medical personnel were finally being dispatched to the scene, but by this point, it was far too late. In the moments after Naomi had made her first 911 call, Noah Harpham would first attempt to light his house on fire using the 2 cans of gasoline, though this however failed and caused him to quickly shift his focus. Noah instead stepped outside and brandished his rifle, immediately pointing it directly at Andrew Mayers, who had been riding his bike in the neighborhood, and after seeing the gun, the man stopped and begged him not to shoot, to which Noah responded by pulling the trigger multiple times, killing him instantly, with Andrew Mayers being the man that Naomi had seen laying dead on the street. From there, Noah began walking up the street where he would eventually see 2 women sitting on the porch of a sobriety center, where local women went to get help with their drug and alcohol addictions, and upon noticing them, he immediately started shooting, striking and killing both Christina Galella and Jennifer Vasquez. Noah walked for over a mile after this before the police finally caught up with him, and when they called out for him to stop walking, Noah turned and immediately opened fire, leading to a massive shootout. When the smoke cleared, the only one struck had been Noah, who was lying dead on the pavement, marking the end of his killing spree. The investigation that followed revealed that Noah had never even met any of the 3 people he killed that day. They were all total strangers, leaving the question, why had he done it? Well, even today, there's still no clear motive, with this appearing to be a completely random and senseless act. But looking at his final and only posts online, Noah was clearly very angry and seemed to be mentally unwell, which was corroborated by testimony from his parents, as they later claimed that he had anger issues and suffered from drug addiction and bipolar disorder. But what's so unusual about this to me was that this video was published just 2 days before the killings, and it was clearly not meant to be a one-off post. It was something that he seemed genuinely excited to continue, yet not even 48 hours later, he resorted to this. What happened in that time frame may never be known, but the effects of it will last forever. And I can't help but wonder how differently this all could have gone if that initial 911 operator had just taken Naomi's report seriously. Noah's spree didn't start for a full 10 minutes after she started that call, which
All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video, or wrap up the stream as well, because we also are on stream live right now from 8 to 12 a.m. Right now, currently is 1:30 or 1:26 a.m. So yeah, um, it's been a fire stream. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Um, and yeah, I hope everyone has a good night, good morning, whatever time of day it is for you. Peace out, y'all. We are